Hello, once more, welcome back to the cellar. Today I'm going to be looking at putting a DCC decoder into one of my mainline class N2s, and so let's get down in the cellar and we'll see how we get on with this. Now, of course, needless to say, things don't go entirely as planned on this. This is Leopard Street. Right, hello, back at the desk. What this was going to be was a video fitting a DCC decoder, which is this one, Zemo MX600R, into this little beastie, which is the Mainline J72. Unfortunately, the decoder doesn't fit. It's got to go in the cab, it's got to go sideways, and it's too wide. So I'll have to get a different decoder for that. So we're not doing that today. Instead, I'm going to fit it to one of these instead. This is another mainline loco. This is an N2. One of two I've got actually. So it'll be interesting to see how this works because I've got another one to do. I've got the black one as well basically. So there's the box that way. So here is the beastie in question. I'm going to attempt to get this into. Quite a nice little model actually, eBay find. This one has got RFID tags hanging on the bottom of it, or for various reasons I'll go into in a later video at some point. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the rear pony, because that's got a screw under it I need to get rid of. I believe this is the main screw holding the body on. Doesn't appear to be, in which case it's probably one of these ones at the front. So let's have a little look. Is it this one? I think there's a long screw on this if memory serves. Yeah, that one. And then this bodywork just lifts out. Bodywork over there. And that's the locomotive. Now this one has got plenty of space in the smoke box to shove a decoder. So, see in there, that's where that's going to live. So there's bags of space on this. So what I now need to do is look at how we actually fit a decoder. Now, this is the basic drawing. This is how it's hooked up at the moment. This is the little drawing I did of the J72, which doesn't fit, so I have to redo this for this. Essentially, track feed from this side goes to the motor, track feed from the other side goes into the motor. What we do is we fit the chip in the middle, move that up. So whatever was on the left hand side still goes to the same side of the motor, just through the chip, and then right hand side through there, and then it should go correctly. So what I need to do is check which of these poles on the motor goes where, and this one does. Apparently it's quite easy to fit, so I have my hopes. So is this top bit, so the top one is the red terminal, red, right, black, left. Essentially get that right, the locomotive will go the right direction to start with on DCC. Get it wrong and there's a CV value you change to turn it round, so it's not a massive problem. So let's have a little look. So the first thing I need to do, there's a screw in here which needs to come out, which attaches this big weight to the top of the chassis. And we lift that up like so. Nice big weight, and the engine falls backwards. As you can see, the drive gear on this one is a little bit gunked up. The motor has to come out as well, which is this screw on the bottom. Take this one out. It comes out there, and then the motor, if I believe, should come out. It comes out like that. Now what we've got is, here is the other motor terminal, which connects down here. Let's put a bit of extra light on this so you can see what we're doing. Bring this over, that helps. There is another, let's screw off that. There is another little terminal down here which goes to this side at feed, and that's in there nicely. See, this is all could do with a little bit of cleaning, which I think it's going to get, because this should run a lot more smoothly than it is doing. Clean the motor as well. And that gives me the contacts on here. Now the way to deal with this, this goes on here. So I need to solder a wire onto this bit somewhere. Could do it over there, could do it down here. Comes down to somewhere where it'll be hidden eventually. So if we just have a little look on here, that's in, yeah. You won't see these bits here. This big weight has a spring contact, because this is this connects to this one here and then connects over the top, so that'll need to come off as well. But if I can solder a wire to that, which will make life quite simple potentially, so that goes on there, or I can just solder wires down here. So with that on, you can get at both of those wires at the side. Problem is, where do you get at them? I don't really want to solder anything down here because that's soldering next to plastic. So I think it will be over here. If I do anything, however, I'm going to clean, at least partially clean, this gear train and the motor, which is going to get some different grease applied to it later. And this is one of those that might as well service it while you're here jobs. So I'm going to back in a sec, so I'm going to go have some cotton buds. Okay, back by magic with some of those. A little bottle that's got a bit of IPA in it, which is useful for this sort of thing. So I'm just going to come onto here and do a bit of cleaning of this while I'm at it. I'll clean the commutator, which is filthy. Not too bad actually, it'll do. Come around here like so. So this will just help with electrical contact, and then can also clean the gear, so clean the worm gear. This is going to get re-greased before it goes back in, so it's in the right state. Where are those tweezers gone? Here we are. Get some of this off. Don't want that on there when it goes back in. Let's get another one. Just one of those little servicing jobs you might as well do at the same time while the locomotive is in pieces. So I just want to clean off as much of this old grease out of here as possible, and then clean off the remnants of the cotton buds. I have got some lubricating oil somewhere as well, which might prove useful. And then the gear train in here. I'm not quite sure how. I'll probably take that apart with the keeper plate. Yeah. Let's dismantle and do this properly. So this is another little screw down here. Hopefully is enough to take the base off. Apart from the other one that lives under the RFID tag. As you may gather from the RFID tags, I have been playing with RFID tags. Alright, it comes out and should just unclip. There we go. It does appear that gear in there is a fixture. That's obviously been pushed through from the sides. Can deal with that. I can clean that now a little bit more easily. Clean this back one. Clean its little housing out. Like I say, I'll re-grease this before this all goes back together. Now, how old this grease is, it's probably about as old as the model itself. I doubt any of this has ever been, let's take all that out, doubt any of this has ever been cleaned since it was put together. The underside here, yeah, see there's another contact in here that needs cleaning as well. Ooh, lovely square cut-out axle bearings. Yeah, cheap and nasty design, but quite an old design, so we'll let it off. Just this once. Go into there, clean that, clean that. It's all been greased rather than oiled. That's fine. I can cope with that. And get whatever we can off this gear in here without punching the mounting out the side of it. Yeah. That'll probably have to do, because there's a limit to how much I can get in here to clean the rest of it. Clean the underside of this while I'm at it. Millennia-old grease out. And this is probably not been done since this was actually left the factory. So we shall see. Hopefully this will run a little bit better after doing all of this. So that's that. Right. That's the mess out of the way anyway. Turn that back over. Right. That's that. Let's put the wheels back on. Because if I put the wheels back on, it'll probably make certain things a little bit easier. And then back into there. Like that. How was that roll now? A bit better than it was doing. So, yeah. And this bit goes back on. And grease the motor from the top, so that goes back on in there like that. Clips in. Goes back on like that. Holds it all together. Right. So I've got these little screws to put back in. On there. And one. Yeah. But end up taking these RFID tags off. It's an old experiment, and I'm going to be redoing things anyway. The idea behind having two tags is I had my own code created for this that I wrote that screw out from inside the wheel now, which wedged itself. There we go. I wrote my own code for the RFID reader, so it can not only tell that a tag has gone past with a loco, it can tell which way around the locomotive is by the data stored in it, which was the idea behind having two tags. They hold the identical information but with a single bit different that is direction. So hopefully, if it doesn't turn, I may have to look again at the quartering on it. Yeah, that's turning. Not the most free moving of mechanisms, but I say I'll hopefully get a bit of grease on that and that'll help. Yeah. Anyway. Right, back to the motor. So that goes on that way up in there. Case again of just making sure all this actually fits together properly before I do anything too drastic to it. So that goes back into there. Cut this capacitor off because it is not required anymore. Don't need that with DCC. Get rid of that. A little hole that gear goes through. Yes, the problem is the metal bit at the back is wanting to bind. Right. Yeah, that's a spring contact that connects onto there. Probably have to take this apart again because I'm going to have to clip some of that copper off. Yeah. Anyway, right. Let's have a look at the motor first. So the motor's this way, goes in here. We've got this, which needs to come all the way down here. Are these wires even going to be long enough? Let's have a little look. So that's there. This is going to be sat here, down the side, which hopefully there's enough space across the top for the wires. Yeah, as you can see, the wires on this, I've got contact up here and then one down here somewhere. May end up having to solder down here. Don't particularly want to, but I might have to. So I'll take the feeds off. Yeah, and then the rest has got to go onto this. These wires may not actually be long enough, which is going to be slightly interesting. Right, so that goes in there like that. Then that turns, and that's turning the gears nicely. So yeah, right. It's going to be an interesting one because the like I say, the wires are, I think, only just long enough. So if I do some feeds here, that'll work. And connect to that, which connects to the that's this side, which connects via that. And then this is the top bush, which connects via this bit. But I can clip that short. That's not a problem. I clip that short and actually solder to that fairly easily. And that goes like so. So if this comes onto here, right, let me just clip these wires off, because obviously I don't need the socket. What I'm going to be doing is clipping this to try and make the wires as long as possible, because I think on this one I'm going to need them. I normally cut this a lot shorter, but here I seem to need the wire length. So that's that. A little bit more. That's that. Now I don't need all of these wires. This brown one especially I don't need. It seems to be tied around them all. This is one of the other functions, because I don't need the function wires. So all I need, some capped on tape up there, I need the black, orange, so basically I need those 4 wires. I don't need any of these. Now in theory, I can keep these wires on, keep them a decent length, and then if I ever want to remove this decoder and put it into something else, they're there. In practice, however, that won't be happening. So I'll take all of those off and it just gets them out of the way. And that all needs a bit of tape putting around it now, so I can bend those around there. Stick a little bit of capped on tape onto that, which is this stuff, which is rather good. This is heat resistant, so it's rather good for this sort of application. Like that. And what I'm going to do is put that onto here, like so. Hold it round. I'm just going to make sure all of those offcuts of wire go inside it, including that one that didn't get caught first time. This can all then go round. It sticks to itself quite nicely. And that's that. So that's the decoder sorted. That's going to go up here somewhere. I need to work out exactly where all these wires are going. And while I'm doing that, I'm turning the soldering iron on. Otherwise, it won't be warm enough. Right. Switching it on at the wall might help. I have some flux here which I'm going to use to clean the tip of the soldering iron with a little bit, so it gets warmer. Put just a little bit of flux on there, that'll help clean the tip. Tin that in a minute. Right, so what are we going to do? Well, this top is this side here, so the top is the right side. Clean some more of this rubbish out of here because there's all sorts caught on the end of it. Get rid of all of that. So now I may end up soldering directly to these connections over this side. I think I'm going to give that a try. So the black wire is this side. So the black wire needs to go onto that there. So strip a little bit off the end. Doesn't need to be much, just a little bit. I might as well do the same on the red wire while I'm here. It's worth noting I've not actually done one of these onto an N2 before. This is the first one of these I've done. So what I'm going to do now is tin a little bit of this down here. Ideally without melting any plastic. And then I can connect the parts to this. So I'm going to do a little bit of flux onto here. Clean off the decades of decay that's on here. Let's see if this works. Hopefully it will. Put a solder on there like that. That onto there, and then a blob of solder. Wrap it around a little bit. That's that side. That seemed to work. It's not in the way of the wheels. I'll do the same this side. Again, a little bit of flux just to clean it off. Let's do it on there. Flux, basically what that does is just cleans the metal a little bit, which means this other stuff should stick to it a little bit better. So that can go to there, go onto there like that, which it does not want to do at all. Right, okay. So this is coming apart again. Big screw stuck to the magnet. Take that out, which helps. I'm going to take the base plate off the bottom of this because this is starting to distort some of the plastic inside with soldering. So I shall take this bit off. That. Come out of there. And the wheels can come out again. Right. What I need to do now is one of these cleaner. Clean this, and I'll flux it again and I'll try it again. And I'm going to wedge the motor back in because that'll hold it for me. At least I hope it will. That on there. I've got to actually remove part of this anyway because down here, so I'll have to clip that in a sec, somehow or other. First off, let's get this bit, try to get this to stay still so I can actually work on it. Right, so I've got my palm of my wrist on the other end of it currently. There's a little bit of solder on there, hopefully that'll be enough. Right, I can move this out of here. So what now needs to happen is that clip there needs to be removed. It needs to be removed so that motor brush down there won't contact it. Now I can obviously solder on this side, so what I'm actually going to do is look at how that spring connects in, or rather look at how far that spring connects in. Right, and then try and get the motor back out again. And what I'm actually going to do is cut this off here. I would if my cutters would actually cut it, which for some reason they don't want to. I'm nibbling through it. There we go. Right, so this now will not contact that side plate, which is good because I don't want it to. Right, so that can go back into here. Eventually, it can go back into here, I hope. It's quite a clever design, this. It's just an absolute pain to get it to go back together. Just while I'm here, let's just clean this off a little bit more. It really is gunked up. Put a fingernail in there, see if that helps. Yep, that's taken most of the gunk off that. Obviously going to need oiling again at some point, but there we go. Right, let's try this again. Back into here. That slots in there, that goes up there. That lines up there and then goes in. It does go in. The editor's decision is final on this. There we are, that's in. And the gears are meshing, which is what I needed. So that's fine. So now I've got these two here are the two contacts I need to connect to, and when this is in I can avoid everything else. So I now have to go with this. This was the red side, because this is the top side here. Or was this the black side? I can't remember. This side here is red because it's the right hand rail. That's good, and then that goes to the top, so that's fine. Right, so the next job is to solder that wire onto there. So again, clean that off, get the rubbish. A little bit of that. Because the hardest part of soldering these is getting the other wires to stay out of the way. Always the hardest part. So that goes onto there. Should hold it. However, what it's not done is bind very well to the wire. So we'll do that and we'll try that again. Just briefly. The problem I've had with some of the track on the layout as well is it just does not want to bind properly. Try that. That's in. Right. Turn over. Do the same with the black wire on this side. At least try to. So First off, I'm just going to flux both this and the wire this time, see if that helps. Part of the problem here is I've got a light in the way, and what I'm trying to avoid doing is sending liquid flux everywhere, because that's not very good. Come here. Right. Let's try this. There we go, that's the two motor feeds done. Sorry, the two track feeds done. What I now need to do is these two, which are both going to have to come down this side here, and I want them as little as possible. So the red one is the top wire, so this goes onto the bottom. So I'll do this one first. That is going... wheels out the way. It doesn't matter what you seem to do on a layout or any project like this, there's always something that gets in the way. And it's usually quite annoying. There we go. So it's that. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. So first off, I'm going to just this is, yeah, grey is the bottom one. Just checking I've got that correct. And this needs to be just onto this. This is assuming I can actually get the iron onto it where I need it to be. It's that one. This one here goes onto the top. Which is this one. That, clean that off, and again a little bit of this. And so the flux, it cleans the contact, removes any like surface oxidization, which helps, and it also as such makes the solder flow a little bit better. So what I can now do is that one. Playing silly buggers again. And there we go. A little bit onto there, a little bit like that. Now that should be enough. Say should, but there we go. So next up is going to be to put this back on. Now this bit here also needs clipping off because I don't want anything else contacting that part on the top. So that then goes onto there, and there's a screw that went through the middle of that, which I think was that one. Was not that one, because that one does not fit. So presumably that would be that. Was it that one, or was it through another screw? And it was this one. This screw here goes into this bit. course, doesn't want to fit through the hole. There we are. Always the way. Right. Now hopefully this is then a relatively simple job of reassembly. Before I do this, I put some lubrication on these gears. Oh, spotted a whole load more of the gunk on the side of them now. I've taken the wheels out. Clean that off. We're here. Right. So what I've got is around here somewhere this, which is a silicone grease, which I got basically specifically for doing this. So I should put a blob of that on there, and can just turn that around a little bit. That should spread itself around the gears quite nicely. Now when that warms up, it really will spread around and fling around a little bit. Alright, so let's now put this weight back on. Which is this bit. This bit. Trapping around all the wires as usual. So that's then back onto there. Right, now that can get screwed into there, like so. And what I need to make sure is there's no continuity now between the wheels and the feeds. So I should just have a quick check of that. So, this is tangling around everything. That to there. Nothing. That one. Nothing. That one. Nothing. Nothing. Right. That should now be good to go. Now the question is whether that has just about got enough capability to get that into there, which works. That's all it needs to do. So let's now put the wheels back in and try to. Shouldn't have to worry about the quartering on this, obviously, because that's how it goes. That's binding with that. That's there. Try to get that wheel in there like that. A little bit of lubrication would be nice on those. I can't find the oil at the moment. I don't know where that's gone, so that'll have to wait. Let's try put these keeper plate screws back on. These are plastic into plastic, so you have to be a little bit careful on these. It can go back down there. In fact, actually, to take that off in its entirety for now, I'll take the one off the back as well, and take out this mounting block I put on for it. It's just self-adhesive foam. So that comes out. I'll take the one off the back as well in a bit. Right, the motor now needs its big screw going back in. So it's that one. That. It screws the motor down firmly in place. And we should now actually be able to run this. I don't know if I'm going to need to put this rear truck on to make it run properly. I rather suspect I probably will, just for balance. So I'm going to do that, because it doesn't stop me fitting the top back on later. And one of those days where everything that can fall off something does. Goes back into there. It's got a little shoulder it sits on, so that won't get too tight. Right, now in theory, that's now good to go. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put this onto the layout on the programming track, so move that out of the way, and then I'll be back. Right, so here we are. The chassis is now on the layout, and this is Decoder Pro, so what I'm going to do is go new locomotive, and hopefully this will work. We type from Decoder. That motor twitching is very good because that tells me it's reading something. And as you can see on here, it's identified some of these, so I know this is Dynamic 600R. This is going to be N2. Go into here and give a name N2 9522 brackets 3. I'll give it a long address, and I'll give it the address 9522. So, write that. Save that. I can now go Open Comprehensive Programmer, and this will bring up the full JMRI Decoder Pro programmer. See, this is me, if nobody knows about this. Manufacturer is Mainline. Model number, let's have a look on this one. 54154 is that. Road name, road number, I don't bother with that, so save that to the roster. Basic on here, so this is going to be a long address. Stays on that. Power source conversion, digital only, which is how I tend to go with on these. Changes on there. Motor is normally be acceleration. I tend to just go with 6 and 6. Changes on there. Basic speed control, not really bothered with. Speed table, I'm quite happy with on that. Function map, yeah, that's fine. Lights, analog controls are off. Consist I don't need. Advanced is fine. Sound, there's no sound on here. Acceleration, deceleration, motor, that's fine. Shunt and uncoupled, so here we go. Shunting is no acceleration, deceleration. Well, that is going to be on F3. Half speed is F7, so the right changes to that. These are just things I put in on most of these. Function output doesn't really do anything on this. Railcon enabled, ABC, I can't get that to work. So that is that. So save and close that configuration file. So that now appears on here. So what I now need to do is see if it'll run. So, excuse me, I just have to move this slightly. Just flick a switch to turn that to main power rather than programming. And now we've got on here, I can go over this, settings, actions, new throttle. And I'm going to pick a new locomotive and see if it moves. Goes that way. Backwards. Goes that way. So, I need to go back to the desk. I need to put the lid back on this, and ideally try and find that lubricating oil. And then we're going to run some wagons around behind. So I will catch you all in a minute. This. We have the train sat on the main line and the loco sat in the programming siding set up to run. Excuse me. And on screen we can see where the locomotive is. So do this. This is a new thing as well. I can now drive trains using the control panel properly. So what we're going to do, set that back to normal. I'm going to move around here So there's limited space here. I'm going to drive her forwards, back her up onto that, and then we are going to run. Oh, no. Lack of space down here is, yes. Anyway, so off we go. A little bit noisy, hopefully will become a little bit quieter as she's running. As you can see on the panel, move to occupy, change a couple of points, stick her into reverse, and back her up onto a train. So here we go. And there we come backwards. And we'll join onto this in a sec. Like that. Forwards. And off we can go forwards. And this should now be allowed to run around on a bit of a loop. So set that forwards. And off we go. And we'll just watch around. This is quarter speed. A little bit noisy, hopefully we'll become a little bit quieter as she's runs in a little bit. It's working. I should just a little bit of speed. Oh, that's noisy. I don't like that. I'll slow that down again. I'll go with low speed, I think, with this one. One thing I did note with this, especially when I was doing the DC testing when I first got this, very noisy with the body on, very quiet with the body off. I suspect the fact the body is held on with a single screw means it has got plenty of scope for vibrating. So here we are, I see rumbling past the stored A2. And she's running quite nicely. And around here. Somewhat noisily, but there we go. Go a bit more speed again. Yeah, that is quite amazingly loud. Yeah, I can't see her running at much greater speed than that on this layout with that amount of noise. I shall bring her back round, and then I'm going to do a little bit of parking. Going to park her up a little bit. What I'm now going to do is hit release. I'm going to select my Q6. I'm going to set another point over there, and then she's going to move. What I'm basically trying to do is pull her forward far enough I can use the head shunt of this bay here to get back in. So that's the Q6 going over there, and as you can see on the display, this is being picked up quite nicely. That's far enough. So actually, she's not gone anywhere near the points. So we can reset that. So release. That's a nice new green locomotive again into reverse. Bring her back. I'm going to park her up in the programming siding. I can see a little bit more servicing is needed here to try and deal with the noise. And again, you can see this all moving around nicely on the layout. So select that back again forwards. Bring the train back this way. There's a little bit of vibration in there that maybe I need to deal with. But she's running, and I think it actually looks quite good with a little 3-coach train behind her. Like I say, I've got a black one of these as well. I just haven't done the black one yet. I think I might do the black one relatively soon, bearing in mind this was fairly straightforward. As you can see, I'm starting to run out of space to actually park trains now. So I can roll this all the way back, if excuse the angle here. So if you can go back into that line there, and base, select the A2 again, and reset the appropriate point, because she's over there. And she can come back round into her parking position as well. Rumbling around nice and slowly. So this is the curve that's probably going to end up being relayed, because it's causing a few problems. But I'm now quite pleased I have got this section running. Incidentally, this bit of track over here actually works now as well up to that board joint. Bring this forwards into a bit of a parking position, which is sort of dictated by, well, actually by the sensors. So we shall drive forward until we hit the appropriate stop sensor. That might be a little bit far, so come back a little bit. Now we'll come over here and we'll just see where stopping blind has left both locomotives. Yeah, well, that works quite nicely. So yes, there we go. The mainline N2 DCC fitted and nearly ready for service. Thank you very much. Yeah, and that's pretty much that for this episode. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscriptions, comments, likes, or yada 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 are all welcome. And I will see you all in the next one. Thank you very much, and goodbye.